Hey everyone, Mike. I'm the founder and CEO of SuiteDash. Today we have a video about a feature that's going to completely change how your team showcases themselves online. Say hello to staff profile pages. Have you ever wanted a beautiful, customizable, and automatically personalized profile page for every single person in your organization with no hassle and no complexity? Well, now you have them. Let me show you exactly how staff profile pages takes personal branding to the next level in your organization. So you know the situation. You've got lots of different people in your organization with different skills, different focuses or specializations, and you want everyone to make personable, memorable connections with your clients or prospective clients. Maybe your salespeople will link this page in their email signature, or your trainers or your coaches will use this link in their marketing materials, and then prospects and clients can follow those links and get to know your staff better and have a more personal connection. This is good for business, and staff profile pages solves this perfectly. Create staff profile pages that are beautiful, customizable, SEO-friendly, publicly available as a web page. You can create friendly URLs so that there's no complex web addresses. And you and your staff can confidently put these URLs anywhere you want, in your email signature, business cards, in the footer of documents, etc. But the beauty is these profile pages are not static, they're dynamic. And so you'll create a profile page sort of like a template, and then you'll enable some or all of your staff to use that via a very individual link that's unique to them. And you can put them in control of modifying or editing the data that's presented on the page as needed. Sounds pretty cool, right? Yep. All right, so let's go take a look and see how it's working. All right, so here we're logged in as Max of Mad Max Digital Studio fame. He's the super admin in this account, so he'll have access to everything. So if we go down to content and we go to public pages, you'll see now instead of just create public page, you have an option. You can create a landing page or a profile page. So that's why you'll find them both under public pages. Now I've already created a profile page here, so let's use this one to demonstrate the feature. Okay, so the first thing you'll notice is that the block editor is here and there are familiar columns and rows. The second thing you'll probably notice is all the data placeholders here. And each one of these is a data placeholder for staff data. This one is for organization data. So on these pages, you can use staff data, which is specific to an individual staff member, and organization data, which is generic to your entire organization. So now let's look at the details behind these pages that make them so interesting. So we titled this one Generic Staff Profile Page. And I could just assign this page to every single person in my organization. If, for example, you have 5 people and you want to have just one generic profile page, and that's all you need for all 5 people, great. Then maybe this option is the best one for you. You'll create one of these, you'll set it up, and that'll be it. Others of you will have different types of staff that you may want to create different varieties of profile pages, or multiple types of pages for each staff member. You might need that in your business. Any of that can be achieved here. So let's continue to look and it'll become more clear. If I leave this unchecked, I can choose specific staff members, which you see I've done here, or I can assign using the teams capabilities. I can just assign this to the paid ads team, and everybody on the paid ads team have the ability to display their data on this profile page, which is designed to be somewhat like a template that you're going to create, and then individual member of your staff that is assigned to this page will be able to have a unique URL that will publicly display their specific data individually based on which URL is loaded in the browser. And again, this will become more clear as I demonstrate. Okay, so that's teams, or we could assign by roles. That might be the way that we want to do that. And now here we can define this friendly URL. In this case, I've decided to call it Meet Me. This becomes the slug for this page, what they call a slug, which is just part of the URL. And down here under SEO options, I can define the title tag and meta description tag of the page. I can use staff or organization placeholders here in the title tag, which you see I've done the name and the staff full name, and you'll see that in just a second. So this is all assigned as I want it for this demonstration. I'm going to click save and save here just to make sure everything is just as it should be. Now you'll see that I've used these data placeholders And even here in the image block is configured to show a staff custom image. This means this is dynamic. And once we know that staff member, what we're saying here is we're going to pull the avatar from the staff member that we're pulling data from dynamically. We don't know who that is necessarily this moment, but when we know, we'll know what to get. We'll know where to go. We'll know what image to pull. Okay, so let's do a preview and it'll even get a little clearer. So now if I preview as, say, Maya, okay, view. So now I see Maya's profile picture, all of Maya's data, her email address, her phone number, everything's there. You might see that we've hard-coded some information about Maya. We'll get to that in just a second. But you'll see here that I can also change to another member. Let's just say Usman, I think we can more use. Okay, so it's pulling Usman's data, but he doesn't have a profile picture or a phone number, but you can see it's pulling his data. But this is all still about Maya, right? So what do you think we would be doing here? In the end, I think we'll create custom fields to return this data, and I'll show you how that works, just as a hint of where we're going, okay? Now notice here on this page, you can also adjust all the styling, just like you can for all the other pages, landing pages, etc. You can adjust the fonts. You can choose whatever fonts you want, colors, sizes, line heights, italics, bold for every type. Also in responsive, you can choose how this will look in a tablet, how this will look in a mobile device. You can be very granular with your designs and make sure that everything is properly sized on the device and how you want it to look. And as more templates are added, you'll be able to actually load templates for these profile pages from the template library. But at this point, there are no templates. We will probably add this one and several others over the course of the coming weeks. So now to further demonstrate, I'm going to save this profile page, which we've assigned to 2 different staff members. And now what we need to demonstrate is how the staff member will get their URL. They need their own specific unique URL to put in their email signature or put in whatever marketing assets they may be handing out or sending out to potential clients. Or you might even just use the links to link off from your website. So if you wanted to have a meet the team area on your website, you could use these profile pages as the actual destination. And in the menu, you can link to the profile pages. You just need to know the URL, and that's what I'll show you next. Okay, so let's go ahead and log in as Maya, and we'll see the portal exactly as Maya does. She'll land on her native dashboard, which is here. But where we want to go is here in the profile. So if we say edit profile and go to my profile, this is what you can tell all your salespeople or all the people that get assigned to one of these staff profile pages. You basically say to them, just go into your profile, scroll to the bottom, and any pages that you've been added to, we'll see there, and you'll be able to create your own alias. So in this case, Maya is assigned to that one generic staff profile page. It could be multiple here, but in this case, only one. Here's the custom URL, and we see the custom slug that I set over the Meet Me. We set on the page level. And then here, this is auto-populated with a first name, last name, but if it needs to change or if there's a duplicate, it may have a number 2 or something. Of course, each one of these has to be unique. So if there's 4 John Smiths in your organization, they can't all have John-Smith. We have to make some variants there. And usually that's done with a number 2 or number 3 or whatever. But they can modify it on their own and come up with their own unique variation that they like better here, and then that is appended on the end of the URL here. And now we have this URL that's a public URL, and because it's unique, we know exactly which staff members' data to return when this is loaded into a browser. Okay, so let's demonstrate this by logging out. So we're going to log out of this browser. We're now in an incognito browser. I'm going to paste in the public URL. And there it is. So this is a publicly available URL. Let me make it a little bit more clear here. Okay, so you can see the URL now. It's right here. And because we know the URL, we know whose data to pull, and we can pull Maya's avatar name and her title, and then all the data about Maya. If this was somebody else's URL, let's say Max Martin, for example, there's Max's stuff. And you can create one of these or variants of these for all of your staff members. They can use these as a tool to relate to your potential clients, to distribute information about themselves, etc. Because of the way it's built, you can put them completely in charge of their own information. Let's get to that now. Okay, we're back logged in as Max, the super admin, and we're editing the generic staff profile page. And you'll see one of the dynamic data placeholders that's here is this staff underline work title. And this is just a staff custom field. So you'll see if I go to the placeholders, staff, and I see organization. These organization placeholders are for the organization as a whole, and they'll always return on any page because there's only one data source. These are more dynamic because they're based on which staff is being targeted as the data source. And of course, there are some defaults, but you can make as many staff custom fields as you'd like to cover your needs. And then you can also specify that the staff members can edit these inside their profile. All right, let's look a little bit deeper. Looking at this page, what's wrong with this page? Well, what's wrong with this is I have static data about a single person here. So even when Max's profile page was loaded, it was showing this static data about Maya. So I'm going to want to change that. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different areas where I need to display custom staff data that is pulled uniquely from whatever staff member is the target for when we're pulling the data to populate a page. So what I need to do here is create 6 staff custom fields to associate with these 6 areas. I'll name them appropriately, and then we'll come back in here and we will insert the data placeholders in lieu of this static data. So let's go ahead and start. I'll walk through the first one with you. We'll call this paragraph that we're wanting under the about. We'll call this primary about. Okay, so let's go up here to the flyout menu. I'm going to go to custom content and content settings. And from here, I'm going to go to manage custom fields. And then it's pretty self-explanatory here. Add custom field. I'm going to say usage is staff, right? And type, I'm going to do the WYSIWYG text area so they can use formatting. And then here, I'll just call this one primary about. And then how would you like your about me to read your profile page? That's what. And then down here, see, I need to enable this. Staff may update this info in their profile page. That means each individual staff will be able to answer this question and give us data that we can then return on their profile page. We don't want to enable this one because if we enable this one, then we won't be able to find a data placeholder to put on their profile page. When you would want to enable this is when you're creating a custom field that you have no interest in returning the data one day. It's just holding data. By hiding the ones that we don't need, it reduces the clutter of the ones that we do need and keeps them out of that dialogue where we're trying to pick from so that there's not hundreds there that aren't needed. In some advanced build cases, that can happen depending on how many flags or custom fields are needed. But we have what we need here. If I click add, now I have my staff custom field. Let me head back to public pages. I'll do it in a new tab just to keep it nice and open. I'm going to open this up. And instead of here, I'm going to edit this text block. Instead of this paragraph here, I'm going to go ahead and just X that out. And then here, I'm going to insert staff primary about. Okay. And this is going to be just a regular text contents. That's what I want. Okay. So now that's done and I can click save. But what I need to do, because I cut the static content out for Maya, I need to go to Maya's profile now. Of course, she can do it herself, but I'm going to go ahead and do it just so everything is put together. I can go inside Maya's profile, edit, go to the bottom for the custom fields. Here's her primary about. I'm just going to paste. So now Maya has her specific data in the custom fields so that when her data is loaded here, when I refresh, it should show exactly the same. Okay, I see that the custom field doesn't work inside a custom field. Thought that might happen, so we'll just do a little change here. And instead of this custom field, inside a custom field, I'm just going to add Max Studio. Okay, so then I'm going to save, go back to her public profile page, and incognito, logged out here. I'm going to refresh. Okay, so now we have what we want. So now this is dynamically provided. This is still statically provided. And we would need to go back to the public page and open up that profile page. So we would need to go back and follow that same logic to cut out this one, this one, this one, and this one, and create custom fields associated with that data. Make sure Maya has this data in her profile, and then we'll get the same exact public profile page for Maya, and everything is good. All right, so we won't go through all that in this video, but let me go to the login page because I want to log Maya in again. Okay, we're logging Maya back in, and then I'm going to her profile, which is right over here. And then I can see that I would be able to go down to the bottom just like I did from the super admin. But remember, we gave the staff permission to edit their own About Me. So now she can just add new things, new data, new info. She can do it from her own profile. Click Save. Now that will be reflected on her public profile page, which of course you can find here. Now understand that you can easily build this data collection into your staff onboarding. So these custom fields then just become questions in a form. We ask them the 6 questions and require that they put information in there. And now we have our profile page ready to go, already populated, because during the onboarding, they gave us the answers. So you can build this right into your staff onboarding process. You can design this page however you like. This is just a very basic design that gets the point across, but you can use whatever methods or whatever ideas that you have about layout, what data to show. And you can be very dynamic with that data because you know where you're going to pull it from, so you can populate it as needed in those specific custom fields. And then based on the URL, we will know where the data is going to be coming from. And that data will change from staff member to staff member based on the URL that is loaded in the browser. Also, while we're here, go ahead and see that the title tag worked just as we wanted, the organization, and then the staff member's first name. So you can use this to optimize for SEO and make sure that any search results are properly titled and have a proper description, and that is dynamic as well. Okay, so now let's talk about some slightly more advanced functionality that I think you'll appreciate. As stated before, this URL is meant to be publicly available, non-logged, accessible by anyone. However, you may find situations where your clients are already logged in your portal, like this client, Big Wave Skis. If I'm refreshing, they are logged in here and actually inside the portal, and they can still access this URL. If I refresh, it's going to come right back. It looks just the same. The difference is we know the staff member's data to pull from the URL, and now we actually know who is visiting this page because they are logged in this browser. So we can do a few more things in that case if the CRM target is logged in. So let's look at those options. Right here we are on the profile page, and now let's look at the idea of adding a button block. Okay, so here from the button block on these specific pages, you do have some options. You can go to a direct or relative URL or a URL from a custom field. This will be a staff custom field. Or here, navigate to the coordinator's profile page. Now this will only work in the scenario that we just discussed where a CRM target is logged into the browser and then they visit the public profile page. But in that case, we know who they are, and therefore we know who their coordinator is. See here, Big Wave Skis, coordinator is Max. We know that. So we can go here and say, you know what? I want you to navigate to the coordinator's profile page. And since we can make multiple profile pages, I'm choosing which one I want to use. And I can even say, you know what, let's open that in a new tab. Okay, so I'm going to click Save. I'm going to move to back to the logged in browser. I'm going to refresh. Remember, I'm logged as a client here, so now I can see this. And in this case, we know the coordinator because we know the client because they're logged in here. And if I click Your Coordinator, it will open the coordinator's public profile page. So now we know. This same functionality can work for your salesperson. So you can populate for your coordinator, your salesperson. And you can even, let's do a different one. You can even navigate to a specific staff profile page person. So let's just say there's a specific staff member who's in charge of, say, booking a building or booking a classroom or meeting room or something like that. It's always the same person. You could say, okay, I want to make sure that they go to the profile page of the person who is responsible for that. And you can actually choose the person individually here. Let's just choose Fredo. And now we'll choose, but Fredo he hasn't been assigned to any profile pages. So then we'll just have to choose, let's see, I think Maya was the only one that now it gives us the option. So if we choose a staff member, they will have to be assigned to a profile page before that option will show up here. And before we leave this topic, let me just explain, it's critical that we try to lock down this data by assigning a staff member to a page. Because if we didn't, privacy could be compromised by someone just guessing, putting the CEO's first name and last name here, and then somehow pulling data from the CEO's profile that you don't necessarily want to get pulled. There could be privacy data. There could be things that get exposed about specific people that you don't want exposed about those people, but you're okay displaying that data for another set of people. And by requiring the assignment to specific pages, that gives you the tools you need to build out your pages and present the data that you want, while also being able to protect the data that you want to keep behind closed doors. Okay, we'll just call this book meeting room. Not sure that's a great example, but we'll try it. Save and keep editing. And then if we come over here and refresh, now we could have buttons that say your coordinator, your salesperson. This specific one will go to whoever is booking the room, which in this case is Maya, same person, but it could be anyone in your organization. And in this case, this button is linking in a static way to a specific person. This button is linking in a dynamic way to the coordinator, and this one will require the CRM target to be logged in. This one does not require a CRM target to be logged in because we don't need to know who is here to follow this to the specific staff member we picked because we manually selected them. So this construction gives you as much flexibility as you could possibly wish for as far as putting as much out there, but also having the tools to keep your data private and secure in areas that you want to. You can create as many profile pages as you need or want. You can assign the profile pages individually or to a specific set of staff or even to all your staff. You can choose unique friendly URLs for each profile page, and then your staff can choose their own friendly URL for their specific part of that URL. And you can create a single profile page and use it for many, 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 many different staff members. And for each one of those staff members, their data uniquely will be populated into that single profile page. And we know it's their data because of the unique URL that's loaded in the browser. So practically in business, this looks like your consultants, including this link at the bottom of their presentations, or your trainers using this on their business cards, or in the footer of their email, which links to their personally branded page so that they get more credibility, they get more likability. If you're running a sales team, then you want this link to be in every email that every salesperson sends out. And this elevates their professional credibility and their likability, which is, in the end, great for business. So there you have it, sweet mates. Staff profile pages, perfectly designed to give you the flexibility and the privacy that you need as it relates to presenting your staff data out to the world. And of course, it includes all the bells and whistles and the SEO optimization and everything that's needed to make sure that they function perfectly to achieve your goals. So jump in, give it a try. Let us know in the comments how it's working. Like, subscribe, hit that little bell. And until next time, sweet mates, keep crushing it so you can get that hashtag sweet freedom.